I am not outside. I am not sweating. I call this a win, but I will be out there later. So I may, give a whole curses, but this is the weather we have. I don't get to fix it, is what I'm told.
Yeah, no fixing this, and hopefully your garden is handling it or will be handling it good. Did you give it a good drink of water this morning or last night?
I had to do that over the weekend. And I'll be honest, if you think that our gardens are like a blast furnace, I mean, literally, I walked, and for those on the live stream, you get a chance to see that on video. I literally walked out into the garden a couple days ago when it was warm, and you can feel the heat radiating back from that black soil. And if you think that's hot, I'm sure all of our soybeans on our 20 acres are like, oh, it's really hot out here. I'm kind of shriveling up a little bit.
I got a question. I was looking at that video. By the way, if you want to watch the live stream, YouTube or Facebook Live, Acres TV. Where else can you find it? WDAY
Right.
Was that freshly tilled and planted, or do you have a weed garden Roomba? Because I did not see any weeds in there.
I have a weed garden Roomba.
Do you?
Yeah, well, actually I have two of them. One is about 11 years old and his name is Benny. He's the neighbor kid who's my gardener. And then the other one is probably about 5'10", 5'11". His name is Randy. He's my husband. As Randy always says, he's in charge of the production. My job is processing on the back end. So I am currently stocking up on lids, jars, pectin, all the things to use up all that produce that we get out of there. Yeah.
Have you seen the little garden Roombas or the lawn mowing Roombas? Have you seen those?
I have. Aren't they cool? Did you buy one for the
God,
new
those
house
things
yet?
are awesome. I want one so bad,
Just set it and go.
but I can't afford those things. I was looking at the lawnmowers. They want like $2,500 for one of them.
So I have talked to folks who have the electric Roomba-like lawnmower, and it just sets its path. It's kind of like having an electric dog fence, the wire buried, and it goes out and it knows what it's supposed to do, and it takes itself back to charge. And depending on the size of your lawn, it may not get it all done in one fell swoop. May have to charge a little bit and go back and forth, but it's a pretty neat deal.
Yeah, it is. So if anyone out there has one of these electric lawn mowing Roombas, or even better yet, the garden weeding Roomba, give us a call. Tell us what you think about it. Was it worth it? Does it do a good job? The Red Wing Shoes phone line is 701-293-9000. Again, that phone number on the screen for those watching is 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us via email at weather@flagfamily.com or egg@flagfamily.com. So, yeah, I'd be really interested if anyone out there has used any of this technology, because I've seen, like I said, I've seen the weeding one, and I don't know, I just find it so neat. It saves so much time if I just had one of these.
Just think of the advances that have happened and are going to continue to happen. We talk to people on this show all the time who are doing something new and different, and just the technologies that are evolving, whether it's in crop production or livestock. It's pretty neat to watch all the stuff that is happening. I mean, just last week in livestock, we talked about the Whisper, where it's like this little unit you can hook up to your beef animal when they get off the truck, goes behind their front leg, needs to be on for 8 seconds, and it'll give you a heart monitor, check if their lungs are clear, tells you if they have any symptoms of pneumonia, and if you need to treat them. That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. I can just imagine we get, I don't know, let's be generous and go 25 years down the road. And you just, instead of a little sprinkler spigot you have on a post to water your garden, it's a weeding laser, and it just shoots the weeds with a little laser.
I know how badly you want a laser. I really understand. I mean, I think you want it more than the weed flamethrower, but we're going to have to work on that in our budget. And I don't remember if our sponsor, Dakota Bank, put that in our budget for us this year when we did our crop budget.
No, and I think we kind of maxed out what Dean's credit would let us pull.
And to those sponsors for Here We Grow, we are so excited that you are part of this project with us. And for those who don't know, this is our 20 acres of soybeans. They are to the north and west of Fargo, right along County Road 20. If you want to stop and look at them, give them a little love while you're out there. Say hi. Give them a wave. Make sure they feel good about growing into that 65 bushel yield that Justin wants. And Those are
Mhm.
Peterson farm seed soybeans out there in the field. Peterson is indeed the largest regional seed company in the area. They do a fantastic job of providing corn seed and soybeans in Minnesota, North and South Dakota. They also have been selling pea seed, so they're expanding into some other lines. And then also Ellingson Drainage, which I'm currently working on booking time with them to do our Here We Grow video. And all I can say is Dean wasn't here for my planning, so it's all up to me, the things that get to happen in that video.
Hey, and next week might be a good week to do that because I bet you
Oh,
some people's drain tiles might be running
why is that?
over
What
the
you
end of this
got?
week, next week. I got a boatload of rain. How is
Hmm.
that, Bridget? How does, okay, so tell me, from Jamestown to Bismarck up into the far northern valley, what
Okay.
is 2 to 5 inches of rain gonna do?
Can I not have 5 inches?
This is over 6 days.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say I don't need 5 inches of rain in 2 hours. That would be a
Mm-mm.
little bit
No, that'd be
crazy.
a little dramatic.
Yes. So if you're going to spread that out, over the weekend I saw snaps from a number of growers showing me wheat that's already wanting to head out, and it's maybe knee high. That's unusual. It's normally larger than that. So I think you would have a relatively receptive audience who would very much like to
Mhm.
see that rainfall. So tell us more.
Yeah, so this is going to be coming over a few waves, and for the most part, it looks pretty dispersed pretty nicely. But there will be a few storms that could drop a quick couple inches of rain in one afternoon or one night. And I can't get into the specifics for every single location, but I can generalize what the area is going to be seeing over the next week. And what we're dealing with today is just what I'm kind of calling the blast furnace because I want to be dramatic. It's hot, it's windy.
Okay, be
There's
dramatic.
there's dirt blowing around and it's humid out there. So we're at 87 right now, on our way to highs near 93. Dew points are in the 60s. They're staying in the 60s for the rest of today. That means that the air is quite sticky outside. And southeast winds are gusting to 30 miles an hour right now, and we'll continue to see them gusting to about 35-ish miles per hour throughout the rest of this afternoon. And as we head throughout tonight, humidity levels stay high in the 60s, and air temperatures are going to cool down to about 72, low to mid 70s around the area. And before I move on the forecast, Bridget, our average daytime high is 79 today. Our overnight low is 72.
This is not right. I need that blocking thing that Arkansas is doing to
Oh my
stop.
God, it needs to go away. I'm telling you, it's just been the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's been knocking all of our storms, either holding them out west or diverting them north into Canada.
Ugh.
And it's really deprived us of much needed moisture. But we're going to get some. It's just coming a little late, but I think things are still doing okay, are they not?
So far, it depends where you are. In fact,
Hmm.
in talking with folks again over the weekend and into this morning, you're starting to see some of those dry effects happening on, say, corn, where you're starting to see some leaves roll, and they're doing that during the heat of the day to protect themselves. They'll try to unfurl at night so that they can take in some of that cooler air, but it's tough on that crop. There was not a lot of subsoil moisture. They really tapped down into that. And so a drink and a recharge of that subsoil moisture would be great. And so I actually would encourage any of our listeners, if you have kind of your drought report, and there are areas that have had good rain. So I don't want to call everybody in a widespread drought. There's areas that have had rain. They still had to drive through some mud as they were out doing spraying or tillage. But for those who are in some dry conditions, if you want to let us know what those look like, you can reach us ag or weather at flagfamily.com. Additionally, you can call us at the Red Wing Shoes phone line of 701 293 9000.
Right. So as we head into tomorrow, it's hotter, it's more humid, and it's windier than today, hence blast furnace.
Right.
Or you could just call it a convection oven, because that's basically what it is. It's hot outside.
And
We'll be in the
tomorrow.
mid 90s, a few of us upper 90s, south winds gusting as high as 40 miles an hour, lots of sunshine. Dew points will start creeping up towards 70 degrees throughout the day. There will be some storms out west between Bismarck, Jamestown, Devil's Lake, pushing into the far northern valley into Canada. Those storms could be strong to severe. Main concern, wind and hail. Those should stay west of Jamestown, maybe Valley City at the closest, in western Grand Forks County is about as close as it's going to get to the Red River Valley. So I'm leaving us dry Tuesday night. But our chance for spotty scattered showers will come on Saturday, right around 90 for a high. Winds back off a bit, but still breezy. And then wider spread scattered showers on Thursday, and then rainy with thunderstorms on Friday and Saturday and possibly Sunday. So we'll kind of be getting this in about four to five bursts of rain. One will come in overnight along western North Dakota. One will come in on Tuesday in central North Dakota. Ours comes in on Wednesday, and then we get two more bursts of pretty heavier rains Friday and Saturday, possibly bleeding into Sunday. So that's where we're going to be looking for those amounts, about, like I said, 2 to 5 out west into the far northern valley, 1 to 2 here in the southern valley. Obviously, localized areas just a little bit higher than that. And we're going to take a short moment here. We got our guest coming on with us. That's going to be Dr. Emily Fox. I think this is Emily's third time joining us because she's so much fun to listen to with all of her experience and stories that she's had to share with us. And she's a veterinarian from Ashley Vet. If you want to give us a call, ask her a question during our interview, feel free to do so on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. And again, our upcoming guest when we come back will be Dr. Emily Fox of Ashley Vet Clinic.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
You're going to complain about my 7-layer bars?
Uh-oh. I look at it and I see it looks like ground beef and cheese to me.
Ty, you're going to be getting married here. Rule number 1, when a woman cooks for you or she brings something to you, never, ever complain. And believe me, they remember.
Yes, we do.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
Hey, this is Shane with Irie Insurance. Summertimes means going for boat rides, camping in your RV, and swimming in your backyard pool. But unfortunately, these activities lead to increased risks. And let's face it, accidents happen. Having the proper insurance can protect you from theft, damage, liability, and more. Let Irie Insurance take care of your summer risks so you can spend your time with more important things like finally hitting that perfect cannonball. To find a location near you, visit us at IrieInsurance.com.
No matter what you have planned this summer, Luther Family Buick GMC can get you there in style. Head to the lakes or your favorite campground in the new GMC Sierra 1500 with rates as low as 0.9%. Explore the Badlands in one of our diverse Buick SUV models with available 2.49% financing. Stop in today and let us help you hit the road to a summer filled with adventure at Luther Family Buick GMC, corner of I-29 and 32nd Avenue South, Fargo. We are professional grade.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
That old tree, you know, the one the kids climbed to escape for a while? The tire swing, the one that provided hours of shade. It's hard to say goodbye to a good tree, but when that time comes, contact Tyler.
Our team will respect your property and get the job done in a quick and safe manner. At Tyler's Tree Service, we specialize in emergency and hazard removals, land clearing and site prep, consultation, slab, and milling. We service the FM, surrounding area, and the lakes. So the next time you get stumped, contact Tyler's Tree Service at tylerscut.com.
Here in the Red River Valley, many things have changed over the past century, yet we continue to work hard, and hard work requires the right boots. At Red Wing Shoes, we create every boot by hand. We are a company rich in history, heritage, and pride, and we're committed to making shoes that fit the job. Boots that are strong and good-looking, that provide comfort and stability. So no matter the size of your feet or the demand of your job, Red Wing Shoes have the boots for you. Stop in and see for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
It's me, Janae from the Coffee Club, and I am super excited to tell you that Hotworks Fitness Center is opening soon on Highway 10 East in Moorhead. Unique infrared workout sessions, including yoga, Pilates, and cycles, great for weight loss, improved circulation, detoxification, and so much more. If you become a Hotworks VIP member right now, it's only $10 to enroll and $44 a month, saving you $15 a month. So become a founding member. Find Hotworks Moorhead on Facebook.
You go with what works, you trust your experience, and make decisions based on proven results. That is why ag producers like you have chosen Dakota Bank for over half a century and made us one of the largest ag lenders in the nation. Hi, I'm Chad Prewy, ag banker with Dakota Bank in Fargo. No matter the challenges, we are here to help you navigate the highs and lows to grow your business by financing your operating needs, improve your land, or purchase equipment. We all rely on you, and we're just happy to return the favor. Go with allies, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, trust and insurance are not FDIC insured.
And welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, joined by Weather Wizard, Justin Storm, Meteorologist Extraordinaire. Can you fit that all on your business card?
I got it on my name tag, so it should fit.
Perfect. I mean, it might be written in crayon, but it looks good from here.
You know what? It's what it does.
It's all good. And even better, we have with us today our guest, and that is Dr. Emily Fox. She is a DVM, a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine with the Ashley Vet Clinic in Ashley, North Dakota. And Emily, it is fabulous to see you. I see you're, as the guys in the control room said, you're pulling a Bridgette. You're in your pickup today. So where might we find you today? Oh, maybe we don't.
I know where
have
we're
her.
not finding her.
We're gonna make sure that we get her back. She might have froze up, but we'll get her back online. Sometimes when you are out in the field, literally, you don't have the world's best Wi-Fi. Been there, done that. And when Dr. Fox rejoins us, we look forward to visiting with her. The question I posed to her when I called her was, we want to talk about reproductivity in livestock. And I had the question from a listener. So how do you know if your bull is sound, right? If fertility wise, etc. We're going to talk through that, what that really means. So this will be educational, folks. Don't go away for that. We want to make sure everybody's listening. Meanwhile, Justin, maybe a couple of follow-up things. You know, we talked last week with two ag recruiters from aghires.com.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that information that they brought is reiterated in a few other articles and so forth that I found. And here's some additional stats for people to keep in mind. Along the lines of most rural areas are looking at unemployment in the 2 to 4% range. But when you're looking for advertisers who are looking for employees, they're in like the 4 to 6% range. That means there is a job opening for every 0.8 people available to take them. It is a job seeker's paradise. So could I get you a job in ag?
More jobs than people.
Well, could we get you a job in ag or like 3? So
depends on what they're paying, Bridgette.
Well, agcareers.com says there's more than 250 and counting ag-related careers. There's lots going on. We're seeing more and more folks who are getting involved. And just as our recruiters told us last week, they have over 10,000 job postings open right now. So that's pretty tremendous. It would be great if we get people doing things like our upcoming guest, Dr. Emily Fox, large animal vet, veterinary technicians, almost like being the nurse to go along with your vet, that type of thing. So I think we have Dr.
Do you think they got any jobs that are ag and weather related?
All of them are ag and weather related. That's why we do a show together.
Well, then I'm qualified for all these. Let's go job hunting, Bridgette.
Like I said, you can have a couple of side hustles, 3 at least, right? Keep them going. So
yeah, we'll juggle.
We'll get them there. Absolutely. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And also just don't forget, if you're the employer, you have a lot more people who are asking for flexibility, whether it's working remote, taking greater quantities of time off. And then also, how are you going to transition some of that knowledge from like 57% of your management level is at a baby boomer age? And even though they're retiring, is all that information being transferred down to the next group that's coming up to management? That's a big question too. So there's a lot going on.
And I think that I think I saw Emily back there in the background. I think she popped up on the screen. Do we got Dr. Emily Fox back?
Hi there.
Hello. How are you?
Sorry I left there. I'm unexpectedly coming to you from a pasture and my phone overheated.
Oh.
So I had to get reconnected. There's an ice pack behind it now. It should be all right.
I am not kidding you.
Hey, right on.
That happens to me and my iPad all the time. I literally have to put it up on the dashboard and blow the air conditioner on it so that it doesn't overheat when we're doing this show.
That's what I'm trying to do right now, but I didn't want to be too loud for you guys.
It's okay. It's okay. Because honestly, this show is that hot, Emily. How's that sound?
Apparently.
All right. That begs the question. I see the pasture behind you. I see a chute. What are you doing in the pasture today?
So I was unexpectedly working some cows and calves. A client of mine got some cows and calves back from somewhere they were in the winter with someone else, and they were in different condition than we expected, and we wanted to make sure that they were ready to go to pasture. So we were just working both the cows and the calves to make sure that they had the appropriate vitamin and mineral status, that the calves had the appropriate vaccinations to make sure that they would do well.
Okay, because you answered my question. I was going to say, what are you looking for? But now I understand what you're trying to make sure everybody's healthy before they go out to the pasture, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So before we get to our main topic for today, as you're doing those vaccinations and so forth, are you seeing a bunch of chipping fever or any dust pneumonia in calves, or how does any of that look for you?
I haven't actually seen much yet this year. I have seen a lot of calves that, in my opinion, were failure of passive transfers from those storms we had this year. So calves that don't have good immune systems. But in my opinion, they're not so much shipping fevers from now. I think they're calves that were chronics. They were calves that got sick during those storms initially. I think a lot of people weren't able to get to their cows. A lot of calves didn't get up and nurse the cow right away when they should have. And as a result, I think some calves got what's called failure of passive transfer. So when you have baby calves, they're born with really, really porous stomachs. These IgG molecules, these big antibody molecules from their mothers, can very easily penetrate the stomach lining and get into circulation. And from the moment they're born on, that closes. And depending on who you ask, somewhere between 12 and 20 hours later, it's completely closed. And so if those calves usually would have gotten up and drunk at 2 hours old, but they got up and drunk at 6 hours old, they may not have gotten the same amount of immunoglobulins. And it was so cold, a lot of the calves didn't want to get up. And so I think we are seeing some residual illness from that and some calves without normal functioning immunity because of that.
So what are you doing to help boost them? Are you, like you said, vitamins, minerals? Is there something else that you're able to do?
FPT calves, there's honestly not that much to do for other than to treat. Calves that actually have a relatively normal immune system, vitamins, minerals, just making sure you have good husbandry, vaccinating them so they don't have any additional disease challenges. But those true failure of passive transfer calves, you will be fighting an uphill battle their whole life. And that's why, these producers, they work so hard to get out there to help make sure that these calves get up and drink, to get colostrum into them. And sometimes you're practically risking your life to find the barn. I know one year I tied a rope from our house to our horse barn. I know plenty of people that have done that to their calving barns. There's no option of like, oh, I'll just leave it till tomorrow.
Right.
You can't leave it go. And these guys have a pretty hard job because of that.
You're like Little Veterinarian on the Prairie. I mean, it's just like Little House on the Prairie in the 70s watching the sitcom.
I am staring out at the prairie right now. It's very beautiful.
I'm telling you, Emily, you got to get yourself a TV show going.
Right.
Follow you around the state. It'd be a huge hit.
Absolutely. Speaking of
I think my coworkers would say I cuss too much for television.
They got bleeps for that.
It makes it more interesting.
And most words can go over the air.
Right. So it is 1:30. We're at the bottom of the hour. We are going to return with Dr. Emily Fox, and she is with the Ashley Veterinary Clinic. She is actually in a pasture right now, and that's the perfect setting for her to answer a listener question for us. How do I know if my bull is any good? Is he fertile? What happens when I turn him out to pasture and he's not? So we'll be right back to answer that question.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features. Uma? Yep, switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Uma. Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Staples has everything you need to help run your small business. Shipping supplies and services to help move orders out the door. Print and marketing services so you can print signs, banners, and presentations fast. And now during Staples Small Business Deal Days, you save 50% when you buy any combination of 5 or more boxes, mailers, and shipping tubes. Plus, find new deals for small business in-store every week. Keep your business running right and safe at Staples. Offer valid in-store, online order pickup, and Instacart. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Concord, New Hampshire location. Prices may vary. N71.
I finally got tired of tossing and turning all night. A bad mattress meant sore shoulders, back pain, and when mama doesn't sleep, look out.
You know it. We've heard those Comfort King ads. Best beds ever, made right here at the Fargo factory, and a lifetime comfort guarantee.
We went to check them out to see what the fuss was all about. Man, they are not lying. We chose a mattress we both liked.
They built it, delivered it, and took our old bed, no hassle.
Seriously, if you're not sleeping well, see the team at Comfort King. Comfort King Mattress Factory, the original mattress factory of the Dakotas. Sleep well, live well.
It's me, Janae from the Coffee Club, and I am super excited to tell you that HotWorks Fitness Center is opening soon on Highway 10 East in Moorhead. Unique infrared workout sessions, including yoga, Pilates, and cycles, great for weight loss, improved circulation, detoxification, and so much more. If you become a HotWorks VIP member right now, it's only $10 to enroll and $44 a month, saving you $15 a month. So become a founding member. Find HotWorks Moorhead on Facebook.
Maximize your corn and soybean crops with Affiance fungicide. This highly systemic fungicide delivers unbeatable protection against disease like northern corn leaf blight, frog-eyed leaf spot, and more. Penetrating the plant's tissue, Affiance provides total plant protection, including new growth. For corn and soybean growers who want quality disease protection and maximize yields, the choice is Affiance fungicide. Ask your local ag retailer about Affiance fungicide today. Always read and follow label directions from Gowan, USA.
Hey, Ronnie, grilling season finally here this weekend. I'm going to sit on my deck with a cold beer and watch Alex grill some meat.
Speaking of meat, Jay, our great friends from Meats by John and Wayne will be giving away a meat bundle this Thursday on your show. All you have to do is listen for the call-in song. And be the 9th caller.
Ronnie, there's a reason those guys have been voted best butcher shop in the Red River Valley since 2016. Meats by John and Wayne. All your meat needs.
Hey, it's Big Game James McCarty and Jace Dedman, and we'll be live at the Timber Creek Block Party and Car Show between Sweet Shots and Kingpins on June 20th.
Pick up your Timber Creek Block Party passport at any Timber Creek business anytime between now and June 20th so you can be registered for great prizes at the Block Party. We will be there live during the Jay Thomas Show and live with Primetime Sports.
So come for classic cars, live music, great food, and a chance to win prizes on June 20th. Details at sweetshots.com or check out their social media pages.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
And thank you for listening to Weather and Ag in Focus here on WDAY. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with meteorologist Justin Storm. Just a heads up for you, Justin, weather related. One of our listeners, Chad, sent me a text message, a picture of some soybeans, and he said, they're thirsty. These are south of Grand Forks near the Buxton Reynolds area. So anything you could do would be great. He said, so far they might look like a sad panda by Tuesday night, but this is a really sandy loam soil, hasn't had rain in weeks after the previous 3 inches that came in 1 hour. So if you could fix that, they'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Probably going to have to wait till the end of the week, but it's on the way.
We're going to see how it goes. So back to our guest, and that is Dr. Emily Fox. She is live from a pasture. She's with the Ashley Vet Clinic in Ashley, North Dakota, and she is one of our favorite returning guests because when I posed this question to her, she said, how am I going to say this without saying the wrong words on air? I said, it's educational, Emily. All the words count. So my question that came from a listener is, how do I know if my bull is any good before I put him out on pasture? And there really is a way to test your bulls for quality fertility. How do you want to answer that, Emily? Where would you like to start?
So before you start with even thinking about fertility, I think there's a few questions you have to ask yourself. One, should this animal be a bull? I.e., does he have genetics that I want to propagate? his phenotype. So how does he look? Does he look like he should be a bull? 2, is he in an appropriate nutritional state to breed? 3, is he healthy? Are his feet good? Are his eyeballs good? Can he find the cow and actually mount the cow to breed her? Because I think if you don't have any of those things, there's no point in testing him. But usually most people have most of those things sorted out before they come to see me. And then I go through semen testing. So according to the Society for Theriogenology, which is like kind of the big society that maintains all of this, there's a lot of different things that go into it. Some people think, oh, you just get a sample from a bull, you take some semen from a bull and you look at it and you say, oh, it's swirled, that's good enough. That's not good enough.
Okay, for those of you on the live stream, the look on Emily's face was actually perfect. You're going to want to go watch that, but please continue.
So you definitely don't want to just do that. And that kind of, I think, was the old way. So first of all, you want to get the bull in the chute. And we normally use electroejaculation now. You can hand sample bulls. I have hand sampled bulls where you rectally massage their prostate until they ejaculate. However, it's not really common. It's actually a lot of work, and it is really time consuming. So most people use an electroejaculator. There's a few out there that has a probe attached to it, which is kind of it looks like a big long bullet almost. And it has 2 or 3 metal strips on the bottom, which provide a very light electrical stimulation, similar to like a TENS machine, if you've ever had one on your muscles. But they stimulate the prostate, and with control from someone who knows what they're doing, like myself, you can get a sample from that bull. So first, before we do that, we go in and we palpate rectally. We make sure that everything is good. The vesicles, well, first we measure the bull's scrotum, because actually if that's too small, he's probably not that fertile. So we go in and we measure his scrotum, then we palpate him, we see if everything's good, and then we get on to the sampling, where we take the sample, then we look at it under a microscope at a very low magnification, and we say, can we see stuff moving? And then we actually take that sample and we use what's called live dead stain, which is a kind of bluish purplish stain. We stain the slide and dry it, which I do with a hairdryer for ease and for speediness.
Sure.
And then we look at that under oil objective, so under a very high objective, and we actually look at the individual cells, and we say, if this cell gets there, because we said it can swim, like most of them are swimming, if that cell gets there, is it actually going to be able to fertilize the egg based on knowing what the cell should look like, which is probably my favorite part, because I really enjoy reading up on all the things that have come out over the years about different types of changes and how they would affect fertility. So those are the kind of the components that go into a fertility test. And really, I see it as a 5-point check, because one of the other things is when I'm testing that bull, I look for extension. He could have 100% perfect semen, but it's not going to matter if he literally can't extend his penis enough to sample.
So, of all the bulls that you check to see if their fertility is good, everything, all the boxes are crossed, how many bulls end up getting turned away or rejected, or, hey, no, this one isn't good enough, out of, how many that come in? What does that kind of look like?
It kind of depends on who's bringing them to you and how old they are. More yearlings are rejected than older bulls, because with older bulls, usually they've been tested before, so we know they were fertile at some point. Whereas yearlings, there are animals that are truly infertile. I think 2 very important topics that we don't talk enough about in the industry are the difference between fertility, infertility, and subfertility. I think it used to be that people said either they're fertile or they're infertile. And we all probably know someone who struggled having children, or, for some people it happens like the next week, and for some people it takes a month or 6 months or whatever. I think in the same way, bulls, there are some bulls that are more fertile than others. It's a spectrum. It's not just a yes or no. And we get into the topic of subfertile bulls a lot. Bulls that are either temporarily low fertility because something has happened, like they've been ill, they've been behind on nutrition, or bulls that are permanently just kind of, they barely squeak by one year, the next year they're so-so. So in terms of percentage, I would say I would expect at least 1 in 10 bulls to be failing, but it largely depends on what you're doing. Yearling bulls, I would expect it to be more than that. If we were just doing older bulls, it probably wouldn't be much more than that. And it just largely depends on what you're testing, and also the characteristics of the bull. Sometimes I'll go to a place to test bulls and I'll pull up and I'll kind of know that we're going to have more fail because they look like they were hurting for groceries this winter, or sometimes if they're really fat too. So that can also influence things. The health of the animals, the mineral status, all of those things go into whether or not the animal is fertile.
So you just gave me a whole pile of questions. Would you test your bulls annually if you're planning on turning them out with your cows? Because this would be different if you were looking at AI. Then if you were doing artificial insemination, you'd know how fertile that bull was. But if would you be testing annually whether they're young or older bulls?
Yes, I always recommend testing annually. And in fact, one thing that I really caution about is retesting if you purchase bulls. Not because we don't trust the bull seller, but in my opinion, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. A bull can be good and then he goes bad even after you turn him out to pasture. So the longer between the time he has to breed and the time he was tested, the more time there is for him to get sick, for something to happen, for him to become either subfertile or infertile. So I generally recommend to my clients, if they've purchased a bull and it's been more than a month since he was tested, that they have me test him again. And that's not because I'm trying to make money or test more bulls. It's because I do think that that's really important. I did have a client who didn't do that. A bull had been tested in February. She turned him out, and she ended up with a lot of cows that weren't bred. And the economic impact of having cows that don't have a calf for a year, those cows get behind. It becomes a real disaster. I can't even begin to express how troublesome it is. And there is nothing worse as a veterinarian than going to a preg check appointment and the first couple through the chute, you're going open. And you know that they shouldn't have that many open cows. And then you're thinking like, I mean, did I just take this person's, Christmas vacation away? I mean, this is someone's livelihood. It's someone's life.
Yep.
I think it's incredibly important. And honestly, as a service, look, it's terrible if somebody misses bred versus open cow. If I screwed up somehow and for some strange reason I missed one or something. But to miss a bull, to get the fertility wrong, I take that incredibly seriously because that could mean that somebody's going to have 30 or 40 open cows. That's a huge deal. And in my opinion, it's not something to be taken lightly. And I take fertility testing incredibly seriously, even more so than the rest of my job.
I got a question for you, Dr. Emily Fox. Do you see more infertility in bulls coming out of very long, drug-out, cold winters because they can't keep their tootsies cold?
Warm, you mean? Keep warm?
Yeah, so we do actually see we see a lot of scrotal frostbite. I've actually been joking that I'm going to make some sort of like knit hat for the bull testicles, but
that was my idea. I was going to have grandma knit some up.
If any listeners want to make something for these bulls, I'm sure the bulls would appreciate it. How to keep it on the bull is a whole nother thing. So bedding really well is a huge deal. If you don't bed well and if they don't have somewhere good to lay, sometimes they will actually lay down and like freeze their, I'm sorry, this is going to sound really inappropriate, but they'll freeze their scrotums to things and end up with frostbitten scrotums. You see a lot of that. I have seen some really, really nice bulls no longer be able to breed because of that. Sometimes then things will swell up real big, then they'll get small. I mean, people try their best, but I had a client that bedded really well and then the wind shifted and changed and the wind blew into where they had kind of made this spot for the bulls. And they had a very, very nice bull that ended up with frozen testes. And there's not always a lot you can do for that. Once they're damaged, unfortunately, it can be pretty difficult. Sometimes it's just the exterior, in which case there is stuff to do for them. But if it actually affects the testes themselves, there's not a lot we can do for that bull.
I see. I got one more kind of on the same lines here, and then Bridgette, I know you got a question or two. Say this does happen and they become subfertile, or their fertility is affected by this, but they still got some swimmers in there. Can you still use AI with those if you're able to pick those out, or is that just too much of a hassle? Or are they just basically done at that point if they have testy damage?
I don't do any bull collection. I don't freeze bulls myself, so I wouldn't know for sure. I would think that it would still be pretty hard because it would be hard to get enough volume. When you're freezing semen for AI, you need to freeze a fair amount. And I think it would be, if you had an animal of unbelievable genetic value, maybe it would be worth it, but I think it would be really, really hard to get the volume. I know that at bull studs, generally subfertile animals are not considered. I test a lot of bulls to go to the stud. I don't work at a stud, and I know the stud generally wants them to test as well. They have some, tricks up their sleeve. They'll keep those bulls for a while and try to do some nutritional intervention, try to do some other things to get them up and going. But generally, I don't think that a lot of those subfertile bulls are used.
Emily, I do have a question for you. Do you see more folks moving to artificial insemination versus traditional pasture breeding? Or what does that look like right now amongst your producers? What's kind of the favored method?
I don't think it's changed in the 8 years I've been a vet. I have plenty of clients that still AI. I have plenty of clients that don't. Some of that depends on the time that they breed, what they're breeding. I think AI is great if you're not good at it and you're going to get 30% conception or less. Maybe it's not worth it. It depends on what you're trying to achieve and depends on what you're buying for bulls. The caveat is, I think a lot of people maybe who aren't involved directly in AI don't realize you're never going to get 100% conception. You're going to be really lucky if you're in like the 70s. I mean, that's great. So you still need what they call a cleanup bull, because you don't want to have open cows. So you're still going to turn out a bull to cover those animals and to clean them up. So you might need less bulls for that group, but that group of cows you AI'd still will need at least a bull or two.
That absolutely. So really, the bull's life on the farm stays. He's not going anywhere at this point. So I really want to say thank you. Dr. Fox, you have done a fabulous job of helping answer this question for a listener. And if folks would like to reach out to you and or the vet clinic in Ashley, how would you suggest that they do that?
I'm not great with social media. We do have a Facebook page. It is woefully inadequate, but you're welcome to follow us there. If you are in our area and you'd like to visit with us, please give a call. We're always real good over the phone.
And when you say in our area, the last time we spoke, that area is about
like an 80-mile radius.
Right.
About that, yeah.
How far are you from the clinic right now?
Oh, I think I'm like maybe 30 miles, roughly.
Oh, so just a stone's throw.
Hop, skip, and a jump, really. Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking that it was easy this morning.
A huge thank you to Dr. Emily Fox with the Ashley Vet Clinic for joining us today to answer that listener question. We now need to catch up with the American Egg Network for current market update, and after that, we'll touch on weather and headlines.
Are you tired of woke investment firms trying to push their political agenda onto your money? This is Brian Kronk, financial advisor at Collins & Kronk here in Fargo. If you are through with big East Coast companies and their ESG agenda, call Collins & Kronk for a consultation. See how we build a plan based on what matters to you. Call Collins & Kronk today, 701-235-0119. That's 701-235-0119. At Collins & Kronk, you matter.
Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. member, FINRA, SIPC. Collins & Kronk is not a broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L-Series compact tractors. Part of our tractor lineup rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Z-Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by Acme Equipment today. Bring home select BX Series equipment for $0 down, 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $800. Now through June 30th. See Acme Equipment for more details. See the full line of Kubota at Acme Equipment in Fargo.
Are you having a tree problem but don't know who to turn to? Call Tyler's Tree Service in Fargo. Tyler's has the tools and experience to deal with any tree issue, including tree removal and replacement, stump grinding, firewood delivery, wood chipping, and more. Offering services in Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, and the surrounding areas. They work hard to complete the job in a timely manner and at a very fair price. For a free estimate, call 701-730-1236 or find them online at tylerscut.com. Tyler's Tree Service. If the sun's out, they'll be working.
Janae from the Coffee Club here to let you know the Hot Works Fitness Center is opening soon in Moorhead on Highway 10 East. A unique style of infrared fitness, great for not only weight loss, but improved circulation, muscle recovery, reducing inflammation, stress reduction, and detoxification. If you become a VIP member right now, it's only $10 to enroll and $44 a month. So save $15 a month and become a founding member of the Hot Works Fitness Center in Moorhead. Find Hot Works Moorhead on Facebook.
No markets on Monday for the federal Juneteenth holiday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. of Jesse Allen with this market update. Well, as we recap Friday's trade action, again, no markets on Monday with the Juneteenth holiday, and it's a critical weekend for many traders as we saw a pretty impressive rally, weather-related rally in the grain and oilseed trade to wrap up things on the week last week, both Thursday and Friday. Huge gains throughout corn, soybeans, and wheat, and all that on the back of the dry weather concerns heading into the three-day holiday weekend. The forecast looks to remain mostly dry for the Corn Belt. Funds were bailing out of a lot of short positions as we worked through Thursday and Friday trade. Now, traders will come back in Monday night and watch as the weather models and the forecasts and any rain that falls, that will all be factored into the mentality of traders here as we get back to normal activity on Tuesday. We saw December corn close above the 100-day moving average on Thursday, and it got above the 200-day moving average as well on Friday with a close at $5.97.5, pushing near $6. Soy products, huge gains there in both bean meal and bean oil seen on the day Friday as we continue to see a strong vegetable oil market in general. Crush numbers came in for the month of May a bit higher than expected on the NOPA crush report on Friday. The wheat trade, a bit of a follower, but moderate strength seen there as well on the day, while livestock were mixed with cattle trading mostly higher on Friday. We saw corn finish anywhere from 17 to 24 higher, soybeans 38 to 50 cents higher, bean meal up $22 to $23 a ton, bean oil up around 130 points, and the wheat trade anywhere from 20 to 30 cents higher, led by Kansas City wheat. Moderate gains in cattle, mixed action in hogs. This is the American Ag Network. No markets on Monday. I'm Jesse Allen reporting.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. 152 on this warm Monday afternoon. We got temperatures reaching into the mid and upper 80s right now, and we're shooting for highs in the low 90s. Even warmer tomorrow in the mid 90s. And we got multiple chances for rain in the forecast. We'll break that down at some point throughout this last segment. I want to thank Dr. Emily Fox again for joining up with us. It was very interesting, and always love when she joins us because we learn so much, and she has so many stories and past experiences that we learn something new every time she's on the show with us.
I kind of just wanted to open it up one day and say, tell us all your favorite stories and just let her roll. Because I finally got to...
You take the show.
Right. I got to meet her in person last month at a graduation. And she's got all sorts of them. Full disclosure, she is the vet for my entire family, works with 3 different operations, and she's just fabulous. She's great to work with.
We need to get her. She needs to get a television show.
And
stream like a Hulu exclusive or something.
Absolutely.
Like the old Dr. Pol one.
Right, but this could be way more fun and less scripted.
This would be way better than Dr. Pol.
Yes, absolutely. So, in fact, I will probably get to see her next week, and I will ask her for her next greatest story.
Hey, there we go. We'll just schedule another interview with Emily, and she can tell all of you as well. 701-293-9000 is the program phone numbers. That's the Red Wing Shoes phone line. You want to call in, join in on the conversation. Asked a question earlier if anyone's got one of the garden weeding Roombas or the lawn mowing Roombas. What'd you think of it? Was it worth it or not? Because I've been kind of thinking about getting one, but I just can't. I don't want to spend what it costs to get one of these things, and I don't think I'd get the lawnmower one, but the garden weeder was one that piqued my curiosity. So just wondering if anyone out there has tried one of these out. But in the meantime, we got a couple ag topics to hit here, and this is one I'm a little interested in, Bridgette. And these are a few things that you should consider if you're entering into a solar power contract. What is the solar power contract?
Well, first of all, how much room is in your backyard? Do you got time to put up some solar panels?
I got a roof. I got some. Well, I don't want to cover my grass, though. I've been working really hard to keep it nice and green.
Okay, well, keep in mind that if you were indeed looking at a contract, there's a couple things that should be in it. And a lot of our farmers are investigating those, especially as we get into Minnesota. There should be a removal bond, and that's the money a solar company sets aside through a letter of credit or another financial tool to remove equipment once the contract ends. A decommissioning plan that outlines the steps at the end of the lease. If there's drainage, will that be restored? What will happen for reclamation of topsoil? To what depth will the solar company remove physical pieces of property? And then accessibility. Is there an access road? Will there be an easement? Because there are some times where farmers find themselves, it's not defined, and the landowner could end up with very limited access to unused outside the fence ground. So it's important to make sure those are some points that you have as you're starting the process of discussions.
I see.
So again,
you should get a bunch of solar panels and hook them up on the roof. Get one of those Tesla Giga batteries that just powers the whole home.
And then you can have that weed Roomba for your garden.
Of course I could.
See?
Those things are so neat.
It all ties together, Justin. We can make this happen. I got it.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm just going to fill the whole backyard up
with panels,
and we'll be good to go.
Okay. Well,
At my house? Yeah, sure. Why not?
I do see
If I'm making money, I don't care if the grass isn't there.
your garden is currently on our video stream, and she looks pretty tidy as well.
Yeah, she's pretty nice. It's a small little what would you call it in sports? It's a rebuilding year. It's the first year that it's been there. So we just got something good to go, and we'll make it prettier next year. So I think you're winning garden wars this year, Bridgette.
I can say I have already picked strawberries because I have ever-bearing berries, and I picked my first radishes on Friday, about 5 of them. So we got to start.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, things are starting.
I don't even have any flowers on my tomatoes. I got into the ground a few weeks late,
Well,
but I've been keeping it well watered.
This heat you've got is going to push it. Want to recap that? Look at the weather.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hot one for the next few days, and then we'll introduce several chances for rain towards the end of this week, end of the weekend, and we could be looking at amounts that are pretty favorable, anywhere from about 1 inch to 4 inches is what I'm seeing right now. Obviously, you'll get localized areas that see less and some spots that may see a little more than that. And I'll touch more into that here in just a second. What we're looking at right now is a lot of sunshine throughout the valley, 87 degrees right now, mid and upper 80s around our area. We're on highs into the lower 90s today. We'll top out about 93, 92 here in the FM Metro. And it is going to be windy. Southeast winds are gusting to 30 right now. They'll continue to gust into that 30-mile-an-hour range at times, maybe into the upper 30s, but I think mid 30s is a pretty good safe bet for strong gusts this afternoon. And as we head throughout tonight, we'll see the winds back off just a little bit, but still about 10 to 20 gusting to 30. Low temperatures will be in the low to mid 70s. And for respect, we're usually in the upper 70s for high temperatures. So our overnight lows are just a little colder than where we should be in the afternoon under clear skies. And another hot and humid day follows for tomorrow on Tuesday. We're in the mid 90s, flirting with record heat, but I think we'll fall just short. But we could tie, maybe break it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. The record is 98 degrees from 1910. I'm forecasting 95 right now in the FM Metro, but it's going to be windier tomorrow and more humid than today. We'll have south winds gusting to 40. There will be some storms in the central portion of the state Tuesday evening into Tuesday night. We'll see a chance for some spotty storms here or there on Wednesday with highs near 90. Winds back off just a little bit, and then some scattered showers on Thursday, mid 80s, low 80s on Friday, wider spread rains, and widespread rain continues on Saturday across eastern North Dakota into Lakes Country, and we could see that bleeding into Sunday. And by the weekend, temperatures should be back into the 70s. Amounts across eastern North Dakota, we'll kind of break it up Northern Valley, Southern Valley, and then west of the valley. So let's say Valley City to Devil's Lake would be west of the valley. Anywhere from about 1 to 4 inches is what I've seen so far. Northern Valley, about 1 to 3, localized areas around 4. Southern Valley, about 1 to 2. And Lakes Country, about 1 to 2 inches of rain as well by the end of the day of Sunday. So there's some much needed rain, but for some of us, it's going to wait until Thursday or Friday to get to us.
Okay. And for those who want some rainfall, time to start doing your happy dance to make sure it falls in your neighborhood, because everything that we get will be appreciated, I think, in a lot of places.
Yes, it will. And that's going to wrap it up for Weather and Ag in Focus today. We thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Remember, if you want to recap any of our ag topics or our past guests or the Here We Grow project, you can head over to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, which is where we also live stream every single day. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.
AM 9.